how do the budgets look? Like when you compare brands, the way they spend on advertising in India versus the brands, the way they spend on advertising in the West?
Um, I think it all comes down to the socio-economic factors in a country per se. So the United States of America, like I've shot there multiple times, whether it's New York or LA, and they have skilled labor. Firstly, so the labor that probably 10 lightmen do in India, you have one guy for each person. So on an average set, you have about 30-40 guys in India. In the US, 3 guys are enough.
Just three guys.
And they're efficient, and in fact, they might be more efficient.
Okay.
So skilled labor, skilled logistics, it's all they've made it in such a way that everything is doable by 3 people, 4 people. So I feel like from that point of view, they've got savings, but they obviously spend more money on these labor people, like because they have skilled labor, so they're obviously going to be probably 5 times.
It comes with the price
cost.
tag.
It all comes with the price tag. India has labor that's really cheap. The United States does not. So I think that is something that's a big contrast. At the same time, in the United States, I think an average budget for an advert, it would be about $1 million, versus in India, in today's day and age, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore tops. Like, that's a standard ad that I'm talking about.
And in that also there'll be a lot of negotiations.
Yeah. I mean, you know how Indians are, we love negotiating.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely the quality does drop in India but what works in the United States does not always work in India. So you
Of
need
course,
to realize
because
that
India has so many different languages, right?
we're an emotional country.
Regional.
Regional.
Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati,
Correct.
Tamil. You need to cater
And,
to the wider audience.
In a country where, I think mostly masala movies work. So you need to realize who you're talking to and pitch them from that voice.
100%. Like for example, like if like with the rise of South Indian movies, like now a lot of like the audience in the north, like the Indians in the north, are also familiar with the actors from the south. But if you go back 10 years ago, a lot of people were not aware of these artists and actors from the south. I went recently to Bangalore and I saw like most of the billboards had like local sandalwood actors, or like promoting the brands.
Yeah.
So that resonates with the audience over there. So I think India, you have to be very mindful because India in itself is like a subcontinent, right? There's so many different countries within this country.
There are many countries within this country.
Yeah, so you have to be very mindful about the like the social sensitivities of like people over here.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that in the West, what they do is it's more non-emotional advertising, versus in India, like you have to sell emotions and features, because the very famous when they launched Sunsilk, the shampoo, there was a time when they realized that in order to penetrate towards the real India, they need to break these bottles into sachets that are for 1 rupee, where an average villager can buy one every 2 days. And that's how they kind of broke into that market. So you have to realize that what works for your country, what works for the many countries within your country, like you were saying.